Hey, night listener. Tonight, we enter the shadows. The streetlights flicker like a dying memory, casting warped halos over cracked pavement. Rain stutters against your window like restless fingers tapping secrets you're not supposed to know. Somewhere, a radio hums in the distance, an old jazz melody, warped and slow, like it's crawling out of another time. And then, footsteps. Not yours. Not now. If this story found you, maybe it's because you've been followed too. So, before we vanish into this mystery, like the video and subscribe only if you can handle the truth buried beneath the lies. Comment where you're listening from. Tell me, are you drawn to the truth, the thrill, or the justice? Now lock your doors, take a deep breath, and follow me into the dark. You see her through the fogged windshield, standing at the shoulder of Route 37 like she belongs there. Black coat, bare feet, hair clinging to her cheek like it doesn't want to let go. You blink, and she's still there. The problem is, she shouldn't be. You recognize the face. You've seen it too many times in that worn photograph on the fridge. The one her daughter keeps asking about. Elaine Mercer, dead 5 years, buried 3 towns over. No sightings, no closure. And yet, here she is, staring at you with those same hollow eyes that used to hold lullabies. You pull over. The rain softens as if holding its breath. You open your door. She doesn't move. You speak her name. She doesn't answer. You step closer. She vanishes. Not like a trick of the fog. Not like someone stepping backward into the trees. She just stops existing, and the air gets colder. You sit in the silence of your car, windshield wipers rhythmically scraping away everything you thought you understood. She was there, you're sure of it. But now, there's nothing but wet gravel and shadows that seem to stretch longer than they should. You drive home, not because you want to, but because there's nowhere else to go. The daughter's asleep when you check her room. Her breath is steady, but her little fingers clutch something tightly under the blanket. A symbol of suspense, a tiny silver pendant on a red ribbon. You've never seen it before. You don't ask, not yet. Instead, you sit on the edge of your bed and wonder, was it grief that brought her back, or guilt? You light a cigarette and open the window, but the air outside feels watched. Paranoia creeps in like smoke under a locked door. You tell yourself you imagined it, but deep down, you know you didn't. She was real. She was there, and she's not done with you yet. You check your phone. A voicemail glows on the screen. No number, no timestamp, just a single message. You left something behind, something that doesn't forget. You don't remember leaving anything, but you do remember lying. You do remember pretending you didn't know. You try to sleep, but the rain doesn't stop. Neither does your mind. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. Outside, a shadow lingers under the street lamp, not moving, not quite real. You close the curtain, but too late. She sees you, and somehow, she still knows your name. A key in her daughter's shoe. The next morning arrives not with sunlight, but with a grayness that clings to your skin like smoke. The storm didn't pass. It simply sank deeper into the ground. You wake to the scent of something damp and old, like forgotten basements and childhood fears. And her voice is still in your ears, not loud, not spoken, but pressing, like breath down your neck. You find the daughter in the kitchen, legs dangling from the stool, cereal untouched. Her eyes are swollen, not from crying, but from the weight of a dream she hasn't shaken off. You pour coffee, not for comfort, but to keep your hands busy. She looks at you like she knows more than she's supposed to. She doesn't ask about the woman you saw. You don't bring it up. Not yet. Instead, you kneel to help her with her shoes, just a mundane moment, a morning ritual. But then your fingers brush something hard inside the lining. You stop. It's hidden beneath the insole, expertly tucked, sealed in plastic. You pry it, lose a small, rusted brass key, old and oddly heavy. Its teeth are worn. You've never seen it before. Where did this come from, you ask. She shrugs. It was always there. That's not possible. You check both shoes. Just one has the key. The left one. The side her mother always tied first. Your throat tightens. You tell her you're taking her to school. But the truth is, your hands are shaking. And it's not from caffeine. You drop her off with a kiss on the forehead. But you're not listening when she says goodbye. You're already turning the key over in your palm, reading the faint engraving on its spine, U-127. It means nothing to you, but it should. You try your best not to let it show. At the red light, you study your reflection in the rearview mirror. The moment you do, the left side of your face distorts like the mirror is trying to erase something or someone. You blink, and it's normal again. You knew, but pretended you didn't. Instead of heading home, you drive back to the spot where you saw her. The same patch of road, the same trees. But now, something has changed. The leaves are wrong, too green, too full for early spring, and the fence post where she stood, it's broken at the base, charred, even like it was struck by lightning. You step out of the car. The wind carries something sharp and floral, jasmine, her favorite. She wore it like armor, soft but unforgettable. And then you see it, half buried near the post. Just beneath the wet leaves, a child's drawing, sealed in a Ziploc bag, edges faded from time. It shows a house, a woman with no face, and a child holding a key in thick crayon. One word is scrawled above them: return. What if you've been the suspect all along? You take the picture, wipe the rain from its plastic skin, and slip it into your coat pocket. That's when your phone buzzes. A new voicemail. No number. Again. This one is shorter. Just 6 words. She's waiting where it all started. You don't need a map. You already know. You get back in the car. The glove box creaks when you open it, like it's resisting. Inside is the photo of Elaine, folded and bent at the corners. Her eyes stare straight through you. You reach for the cigarette lighter, pause, and instead slide the key in beside the photo. Symbols matter, especially the ones we ignore. As you drive, something gnaws at the back of your mind, a whisper from your own past. You've spent too long trying to bury. The hospital, the night she disappeared, the fight, the lies. Everyone remembers the body being found near the river. But you remember something else, something you said, something you did. And the reason why you never attended the funeral. You grip the wheel harder. Raindrops blur the windshield into smeared ghosts of trees and signs. The road stretches forward, but it feels more like it's wrapping around you. Your phone buzzes again. This time it's a text. No name, no number, just coordinates. The address of the house you grew up in. The place you promised never to return to. The place she left without looking back. You stare at the screen, heart thudding. It was never about the truth. It was about control. And she still has it. Voices. Through the air vent. The house greets you like a held breath. Still. Dense. Waiting to exhale something it's been choking on for years. It hasn't changed much since you were a child. Same flaking porch steps. Same rusted swing swaying despite the still air. You'd buried this place in memory, but now the past is clawing its way back through the floorboards. You unlock the front door with the spare you told yourself you threw away. Inside, the air tastes stale, old grief, damp secrets. The floorboards whine under your steps like they remember every lie spoken here. You close the door, and something behind it affolds a deadbolt, broken clean off, lying in the dust like a discarded defense. You step carefully through the living room, eyes tracing the outlines of old furniture under white sheets. It looks like a crime scene preserved under cloth, and maybe it is. You pause by the vent near the floor. It hums faintly, not with air, but with something else. You kneel, lean close, a voice whispering, soft, wrong. At first, you think it's your imagination. Then it says your name. You jerk back, but the voice doesn't stop. It weaves through the ductwork, too soft to catch completely, too real to ignore. Words curl through the grate like fog. She never left. She watches from below. You let her drown. You feel the cold crawl of sweat down your spine. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You go room to room. Everything is just as it was, too clean, too untouched, except the upstairs hallway. There, hanging crooked on the wall, is a mirror you don't recognize. Cracked spider across the glass, radiating out from the center like a frozen scream. You stare into it, and for a moment, you don't see yourself. You see her, Elaine, not the version you remember. The one in the mirror is drenched, furious, and reaching. You blink. She's gone. The mirror is just a mirror, again cracked, not broken. You retreat into your old bedroom. You haven't set foot in it since the night she left. The wallpaper is peeling at the corners. The air smells of dust and mildew and something else, jasmine and rust. You sit on the edge of the bed, your fingers brushing against the wooden frame. There's a hollow thunk. You kneel, pry the side panel loose. Inside is a small tin box. Inside the box, a pair of earrings, a folded note, and a photograph. The earrings were hers. You remember them, catching the light when she kissed your daughter's forehead. The note is short, the ink smeared. Some words are missing. If you're reading this, I'm already, they know, basement. Find the truth before she does. She, who is she? Elaine, or someone else. The photograph is of the three of you, her, you, and your daughter, taken a week before she vanished. But something is off. The background, you stare at it. There's a shadow behind you, tall, unmistakable, a man in a coat. But you were alone when that photo was taken, weren't you? Your hands tremble. You drop the picture. It lands face down, next to the note. You hear something behind you. A click, mechanical, familiar. You turn. The vent cover is open. The whispering is louder now. A rustling hush, like pages flipping in the dark. Your name. Again. Louder. Closer. You can't bury what remembers. You crawl toward it, flashlight in hand. Shine the light inside. Dust, nails, rat droppings, and a photograph taped to the metal interior. You reach in, peel it free. Another image of Elaine. Only this time her face is slashed out. Not scratched, not burned, cut. You sit back, gasping. The flashlight flickers, dies. The room turns thick with silence. Not the comforting kind, the kind that's listening. You breathe through your teeth, afraid even of the sound of your own heart. What if you've been the suspect all along? The voice returns, just one word. This time, return. The same word the child wrote in crayon. The same message tucked inside a shoe. The lights buzz once, then flicker out entirely. You sit in the dark with only that word echoing through the vents like a command. Return, return, return. It was never about the truth. It was about control. And you're not the one holding it. The photograph with the eyes scratched out. The next morning bleeds in like a bruise, blue light pressing through torn curtains, silent and cold. You didn't sleep. You couldn't. Not after the whispering. Not after what you saw in the vent. You sit at the kitchen table, the photo between your fingers. The edges curl from time, from heat, from being hidden too long. Elaine's face is almost intact, almost, but someone took a blade to her eyes, slicing two perfect crosses through where they should be. Precision, rage, or maybe fear. You sip black coffee, hands trembling, throat dry. Your phone buzzes. A text. Unknown number again. She saw what she shouldn't. So did you. You type back quickly. Who is this? No response. You stare at the photo again. There's something odd in the background. Not the shadow this time, but a building, half obscured. Familiar. You grab the picture from the fridge, the one you thought was the only surviving copy. Compare them side by side. Different photos, same day, same outfits, same smiles. But the backgrounds aren't identical. In the new one, the one with her eyes cut out, there's something reflected in the glass door behind her. A hand. Not hers, not yours. Too large. Gloved. You lean in. There's also a number scratched into the bottom right corner, barely visible beneath the photo gloss. 127. Same number as on the key. It's a breadcrumb trail. You pick up the key again. Cold. Brass. Heavy. You turn it over in your palm. U-127. A thought needles its way into your mind. Storage unit. You search the local listings. Cross-check old addresses. After 30 minutes of digging, you find it Unit U-127, rented 15 years ago. To Elaine, unpaid since her disappearance. Locked. Untouched. Until now. You shouldn't go. You know that. But you're already in the car. The drive is short. Too short. The sky is the same color as old bones. Clouds bruise at the edges like they're about to open and scream. The facility is still there. Chain link fences. Keypad gates. A tired-looking manager behind glass who doesn't even ask for ID when you flash the old lease printout. You make your way down row U. The air grows colder. The units stand like silent witnesses. Each door a locked mouth. You find 127. Your key slides in easily. You hesitate. Then you turn it. The door groans upward like it's waking up from a long, bitter sleep. Inside, dust motes swirl in a single beam of light from a cracked vent above. Boxes. A plastic storage tub. A mannequin draped in Elaine's coat. You freeze. A symbol of suspense. A baby monitor lies half buried under a tarp. Its red light blinking. It's on. You step carefully over loose photos, curled paper, and the sharp edge of a broken frame. The smell hits you all at once. Jasmine and mildew. Decay masked in perfume. You lift the tarp off the mannequin. It's not just wearing her coat. It's wearing her wedding ring. And inside the pocket, a phone, old model, dead. But beneath it, a folded letter in Elaine's handwriting. If I don't make it back, tell her the truth. Don't let them raise her in silence. Don't let her become me. You don't understand what she means. You will. Behind you, something clatters. You spin. Nothing. The baby monitor crackles. Hear me. Thought you knew. The signal dies. You take what you can photos. Letters. The ring. You shut the unit and leave the key behind. Back in the car, you study the photos, all taken inside your old home, and in one, your daughter, as a baby, in someone's arms, but not Elaine's. A man, face obscured, wearing gloves. You never saw that photo before. You don't remember that moment, and your daughter never should have known him. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. Your phone buzzes again. Another voicemail. You left the door open. No number. No timestamp. You slam the brakes, heart punching your ribs. You race home. When you arrive, your front door is ajar. Inside, silence. You call her name. No answer. The clock on the wall ticks louder than it should. You hear it again, the whispering, from the vent. Only this time, it's not just one voice, it's two, and one of them is hers. The man with the wrong smile. The house doesn't feel like yours anymore. The moment you step inside, the air presses against your skin like wet fabric, too still, too quiet, as if it's listening to your breath. The front door creaks gently behind you, drifting toward a close, but never quite settling shut. Your voice cuts through the silence again. You call her name. No footsteps on the stairs, no scuffle of toys, no answer. The whispering has stopped. You walk cautiously down the hallway. Every floorboard under your feet groans like it's trying to warn you. The air vent in the corner is wide open, now cover discarded, screws scattered like teeth. You kneel beside it. It's cold inside, colder than it should be. You reach your hand in slowly, hesitantly, and your fingers brush against something smooth, plastic. You pull it out, a child's walkie-talkie, still on, still hissing. She's waiting. Crackle. Don't let him smile. Your stomach tightens. You rise and move toward your daughter's bedroom. The door is ajar. Moonlight slices across the carpet like a scalpel. The bed is empty, but something is sitting in her place. A stuffed bear. Yours, from childhood. One eye missing. The mouth sewn shut. You haven't seen it in decades. On its lap lies a Polaroid, fresh. It shows your daughter standing by the edge of the woods behind the house, looking away from the camera. And behind her, a figure, blurry, male, wearing a coat, too familiar. You rush back into the hallway. Your voice breaks the silence again, sharp, panicked, raw. Then, behind you, a voice, not whispering, speaking. She looks just like her mother. You spin. A man stands in the kitchen. You didn't hear the door. You didn't hear him move. But he's there, calm, dressed in brown corduroy, hair perfectly combed. His smile is wrong, too wide, too still, like it was painted on from a memory that didn't belong to him. You don't remember inviting him in. You don't even remember seeing him before. But your gut says otherwise. You knew Elaine, you ask. He nods. Slow. Controlled. Better than most. Not as well as you. His eyes flicker to the hallway. To be honest, he adds, I thought you'd have burned the place down by now. Your hand tightens around your phone in your pocket. I want to know who you are. Another smile. This one smaller, crueler. I think you already do. You knew, but pretended you didn't. He reaches into his coat. For a moment, your body tenses, ready to run. But he pulls out something else entirely. A photograph of you and Elaine in this house. Except you're looking over your shoulder, and he's standing right behind you. You don't remember that moment, but he does. You came back. He says, that's what matters. Elaine always knew you'd have to. You take a step back. I want my daughter. You say, she's safe. He replies, for now. But safety is subjective. Don't you think? Your fingers inch toward the counter behind you. There's a knife there. You know it. You put it there yourself. He notices. His smile doesn't change. Violence won't help. He says, "It never did. What do you want?" He cocks his head. Like you asked the wrong question. "It's not what I want," he says. "It's what she left unfinished." Then he places the photo on the table and turns to leave. "Where are you going?" you demand. He pauses at the door, looks over his shoulder, back to where it started. Come alone, or the daughter becomes the mother. He vanishes into the night. You rush to the door, nothing but wet pavement and fog beyond. No taillights, no footsteps. He's gone. You grab the Polaroid again. The woods, you know them. You played there as a child. So did Elaine. You lock the doors, all of them. Nail them shut if you must. Then you make your way to the attic. You need answers, and the answers are always in the places we avoid. The pull cord swings like a pendulum as you reach up and yank it down. The ladder groans under your weight. The attic smells like rotten paper. A single box sits in the middle of the floor, unmarked, dustless, waiting. You open it. Inside a cassette tape, labeled only with one word, confession, and a cracked mirror, face down. You pause, touch the glass, feel it hum beneath your fingers. What if you've been the suspect all along? You pocket the tape, turn the mirror over, and stare into the reflection. But the reflection doesn't stare back. It smiles, just like him. A glove in the freezer. You don't sleep that night. Instead, you sit at the kitchen table with the tape deck you dug out of the hall closet dusty, but functional. The cassette-marked confession spins slowly, ticking with the rhythm of your pulse. You press play. A hiss, silence, then her voice. "Elaine, if you're hearing this, I'm already gone. Maybe not dead, but gone in the way that matters." You stop breathing. There are things, I did things I let happen, things I told myself were necessary, but lies rot. They always do. You hear her pause, a ragged inhale. He said we had to hide it, that no one could know, that the truth would destroy her. Maybe it already did. The tape crackles, another sound behind her voice, breathing, not hers. You slam pause. There's someone else in the room with her. You rewind, listen again. The sound's there, soft, deep, deliberate. You recognize it now. The man with the wrong smile. You eject the tape, hands shaking. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You shove the tape in your coat pocket and pace the kitchen. You stare out the window. The woods stare back. And then you notice something strange. The fridge light is on, but the door is closed. You open it. It hums louder than usual. The inside smells wrong, not spoiled, not rotten, sterile. You tug open the freezer drawer. A single object sits in the frost. A black leather glove. You reach in. It's stiff with cold. You flip it over, and there, scratched into the palm, in faint white ink, is a symbol infinity, a circle looping endlessly. No end, no beginning, just the echo of itself. You've seen it before on Elaine's ankle, a faded tattoo she never explained. You look around the kitchen. Everything seems smaller now, more fragile, the walls tighter. You check the drawer where you keep her things, the earrings, the locket, the picture she drew for Mother's Day. It's all still there, except the locket, gone. And when you close the drawer, taped to the bottom of it, you find a note written in a child's hand. He said not to tell you, but I saw him in the mirror. He watches when we sleep. You stagger backward, grab your phone. Another voicemail, same unknown number. This one's just laughter, slow, rhythmic, hollow, and beneath it, faintly, a dripping sound. You go to the sink, It's dry. You open the under sink cabinet. Nothing. But you hear it. Still dripping. Then you follow the sound upstairs, past the daughter's empty room, into the bathroom. You pull back the shower curtain. Nothing but steam. Except the mirror above the sink is fogged. But there's something written in the condensation. Return what you took. You wipe it away. No more message. Just your reflection. Wide eyes, pale skin, and a shape behind you. You spin around, no one. But the closet door is cracked open. You reach in. A box of bandages, bottles, and a small velvet jewelry pouch. The locket. You open it. Inside 2 photos, one of your daughter, one of Elaine. Only the photo of Elaine isn't the one you remember. It's her as a child, crying, and standing behind her the same man in the same coat. He's been here before, long before you ever knew him. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. You take the glove, the locket, the tape, and leave the house. You can't be here when it gets dark. Not again. You drive, mind racing, unsure where to go until you find yourself pulling into the old church parking lot just outside of town. Elaine used to sit in the last pew. She said it was the only place she felt invisible. You sit there now. Place the glove on the pew beside you, the cassette in your lap, the locket in your palm. You stare at the altar. Then you whisper aloud, "What did you take?" And from behind the altar, a sound. Footsteps. You rise, walk slowly down the aisle. Each step echoes louder than it should. When you reach the altar, you find it a cracked wooden chest, half hidden beneath a collapsed cross. Inside files, Polaroids, newspaper clippings, all with the same red stamp on the cover, sealed Unit 127. You flip through them, and there she is, Elaine, 15, 17, 19, photos you've never seen. Her eyes always tired, her smile always wrong. In one, she's holding something, a baby, but not your daughter, someone else. And beneath the photo, scribbled in pen, she was never supposed to know. What if you've been the suspect all along? Your phone buzzes. One word, from the unknown number. Soon, you leave the church and look up at the sky. The moon is gone. The stars have vanished. Only fog remains. And somewhere in that fog, he's waiting. The mirror that cracked at midnight. You don't remember the drive home, the church, the chest, the photo. It all plays back like a fevered dream, something half submerged. By the time you pull into the driveway, the fog has thickened so much that the porch light is just a dying orb, swallowed by mist. You step inside, lock the door behind you. Not that it matters. The house feels wrong now, rearranged in small, almost imperceptible ways. The clock ticks louder. The hallway seems longer. And the mirrors, there are more of them now. You don't remember owning so many. One in the hallway, one above the stairs, one on the back of your daughter's bedroom door. You walk to the largest one, the full-length mirror in your own bedroom, the one you've had since you were a child. It's cracked, fresh. The break runs diagonally across the glass like a scar, slicing your reflection in two. You reach out. The surface is colder than it should be. Your breath fogs it slightly, and just for a second, your reflection lags behind. You step back. The mirror holds your gaze, and then the crack widens with a loud, splintering sound, like bone under pressure. You jump, but nothing else happens. You stare at the fractured version of yourself and wonder which half is real. Your phone buzzes. A voicemail again. You play it. Elaine's voice. It's not the mirrors that lie, it's what we hide from them. A pause. He watches through glass, always has. That's how he finds us. The line cuts. You spin around. Check every reflective surface. Bathroom mirror, microwave door, television screen, even the puddle by the front door still shimmering from your wet boots. Each one reflects you. Each one feels like it's watching you. You grab the locket, the tape, the glove, and stuff them into your satchel. You return to the attic. The mirror up there is still turned face up. You wrap it in a blanket and carry it down the stairs like a corpse. You don't know where you're going, only that you have to leave before midnight. You look at the clock, 11:57 p.m. 3 minutes. That's when you hear it. A soft, deliberate knock at the window. You freeze. You turn slowly toward the sound. Another knock. You creep to the window. Part the curtain. He's there. The man in the coat, standing at the edge of the yard, under the trees. Still, unblinking. He lifts his hand, waves, smiles. The clock ticks. 11:58. You grab your daughter's shoes, the ones with the key hidden in the sole. You put them in your bag. You don't know why, only that they matter, that she mattered. 11:59. You slam every mirror face down, cover the television, close the laptop, shut the closet door with the mirrored panel. You turn back toward the hallway. A sound like shattering rings out from your bedroom. You race inside. The large mirror, the one with the long diagonal crack, it's split wide open, not just broken, hollowed, like something or someone stepped through. You approach, cautiously, every part of your body screaming at you to run. You peer into the center of the fractured glass. It's not your reflection staring back. It's hers, Elaine, but younger, terrified. Behind her, a figure looms in the darkness. Not the man in the coat. Someone worse. Someone faceless. Your breath catches. Midnight strikes. The sound echoes through the house, each chime like a nail hammered into time. You back away. And from the cracked mirror, a whisper. Bring her back, or take her place. You hear the bedroom door creak behind you. You turn. No one's there, but the closet door is wide open now, and inside, hanging from the rod, is Elaine's coat, the one from the storage unit, the one you left behind. You don't move, because hanging beside it is another coat, smaller, child-sized, and in its pocket you find something smooth and cold, a second glove, the match to the one in the freezer. You hold both now, left and right. Warmth pulses through the leather, and then your phone lights up. Another voicemail. Elaine, again. If you find the second glove, he's already chosen. You'll have to choose too. You stare at the gloves. You stare at the mirror. You stare at yourself and realize you're not alone in this house. You never were. What if you've been the suspect all along? The mirror flickers, then shatters completely. The diary you were never meant to read. The sound of the mirror shattering doesn't echo like glass should. It's thicker, like a scream being smothered in velvet. You don't move, can't, for a moment. All you do is watch the shards as they settle around your feet, each fragment catching a distorted sliver of your reflection, a version of yourself you don't quite recognize. Then the silence sets in, too complete, too intentional. You gather the gloves, wrap them in a towel. You want to throw them in the fire, but something stops you. The weight of them, the memory inside them, as if they're not just leather and thread, but something deeper, something watching from within. You step carefully through the shattered glass, and follow the thread of your panic toward the hallway. Your daughter's room is still empty, but her closet door is ajar now. You approach slowly. Inside, the usual mess: stuffed animals, art supplies, a half-built dollhouse, and something you hadn't seen before: a shoebox, taped shut with layers of purple duct tape and covered in childish stickers. You peel them away one by one. Inside, wrapped in a silk scarf you recognize as Elaine's favorite, is a diary. Small, leather-bound, worn. You open the first page. Your daughter's handwriting. If mommy comes back, don't let her in. You flip to the next page. The handwriting changes. Elaine's. You sit on the floor, back against the wall, and begin to read. The man came again last night. Same dream. He stands by the window, just smiling. I pretend to sleep, but he always knows. He waits until I open my eyes. Then he starts to talk. You turn the page. I told the therapist. She said it was stress. I asked if stress leaves fingerprints. Your fingers go cold. The next entry, I heard her whispering to him, my daughter, in her sleep. Same words I used to say when I was a child. The ones he taught me. Your breath hitches. She doesn't know it's him. Not yet. But she will. Just like I did. It always happens at 7. That's when the mirrors change. That's when the shadows go silent. That's when he's closest. You stare at the clock on the wall. 7:02. You didn't hear it chime. The air feels wrong again. You keep reading. He never really left. Not after the cabin. Not after the fire. He said he'd find another way back. And I believe him. He always does. He told me something I can't forget. You can kill the memory, but not the mirror. You pause. You flip toward the back of the diary. The entries grow unsteady, scattered, like she was running out of time or sanity. Then one catches your eye. A single page. If you're reading this, it means I failed. He's inside now. Not just the house, inside her. I tried to protect her, just like my mother tried to protect me. But the mirror never forgets. The final words on the last page. Burn it all, before it's too late. You close the diary, set it on the bed beside you. Your hands are trembling. What if Elaine didn't just vanish? What if she let herself disappear because she thought it was the only way to protect your daughter? You step into the hallway, heart hammering. You think of the locket, the gloves, the whispers through the vent. The diary confirms it. There's a pattern, a cycle, and you're not the first to live it. You hear something behind you, soft footsteps, bare feet on wood. You turn. She's standing at the top of the stairs. Your daughter, sleepwalking, eyes half-lidded, face pale in the dim light. But it's not the way she usually looks when she walks in dreams. She's whispering something, over and over. You crouch down. Sweetheart. She stops. Her lips move. You lean in to hear and realize she's not speaking English. The words are strange, ancient, the same ones you once heard Elaine mutter in her sleep, years ago. Words that didn't belong in any known language. Words that don't sound like hers. You step forward, touch her shoulder. Her eyes snap open, but they're not hers. The pupils too wide, the irises too gray. She whispers something else. One word, one name, him. You step back, and she smiles, wrong, just like the man in the coat. Then she collapses into your arms, unconscious. You hold her close, hand cradling the back of her head, heart racing. You knew, but pretended you didn't. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones, especially the ones you love. You carry her to the couch, cover her with a blanket, and check her breathing. Steady, slow, but she's not really sleeping. You can feel it. There's something behind her eyes, waiting. watching, and you know now it's not over. It never was. It was never about the truth. It was about control. A phone that calls itself. The rain begins again, sometime around dawn. You sit in the armchair across from the couch, watching your daughter sleep with a stillness that unnerves you. Her breathing is regular, her face peaceful, but the air around her feels pressurized, like something is coiled beneath the surface, waiting to rise. You haven't blinked in what feels like an hour. You're afraid of what might change when you do. Your phone vibrates on the table beside you. The screen lights up. Incoming call. You reach for it instinctively, then stop cold, because the number isn't just unknown, it's your number. Your phone is calling itself. The display flickers once, then again. You hesitate, then you answer. At first, there's silence, then static, wet, smothered static, like it's being transmitted from underwater. Then a click, then Elaine's voice, whispering strained, trembling. He's waking her up. You have to stop it. Have to stop. You lean forward, eyes locked on your sleeping daughter. Elaine, you whisper. Where are you below? She replies. Where he keeps us. Another voice enters, low, male, not angry, amused. You keep listening. That's how I get through. You drop the phone. It clatters to the floor and slides under the couch. You don't chase it. Your daughter shifts in her sleep. She begins to mumble again. You catch fragments, he said. Just like Mommy did. Open the door. You back away into the kitchen. Turn on every light you can reach. Light makes you feel in control, even if it's a lie. You grab the diary from the table, flip through the pages again. You missed something. Halfway through the book, tucked between two pages, is a business card, yellowed and brittle. On it, a name, a place, Dr. L. Matheson, hypnotherapy and trauma integration. No address, just a phone number. You dial it. It rings twice. Then a voice answers. Female, firm, cautious. Who gave you this number? You hesitate. Elaine Mercer. Silence. Then she said you might call. The woman sighs. I told her it wouldn't work, but she insisted. She said if the daughter started speaking the language again, it was already too late. What language? The one he taught them, before he died, before he came back. You grip the phone tighter. Who is he? No one who ever lived. A pause. Then she adds, you need to burn what's left, and I mean everything. The photos, the gloves, the mirrors, especially the mirrors. I can't. She's my daughter. He's inside her. Then you've already waited too long. The line goes dead. You stare at the receiver like it might explain itself. It doesn't. You hang up, turn toward the living room. The couch is empty. You bolt toward the hallway. Panic spreads through your veins like oil on fire. Sweetheart, no answer. You check the front door. Still locked. You run to the back of the house. The screen door is open. The path to the woods dark and slick with rain. She's gone. You race outside, barefoot. The cold earth biting at your soles. Branches claw at your arms. Mud pulls at your heels. The fog is thick, but there are small footprints in the wet ground, child-sized. Leading deeper, you follow, and then you see it. A mirror, standing upright in the middle of the clearing like it grew from the soil. Not hung, not leaning, just standing. Your daughter is standing in front of it, barefoot, pale, staring into her own reflection. You call to her. She doesn't react. You get closer, slowly, carefully. She lifts a hand and touches the glass. The reflection doesn't follow. You freeze. Don't. You whisper, but it's too late. Her reflection smiles, wrong, and reaches back. You sprint forward, grab her by the waist, and pull her away just as the mirror ripples like water. Her skin is ice cold. Her breath comes out in a shudder. She screams, not in fear, in fury. You ruined it. He was gonna show me. You hold her close. It's okay. You're safe. No, she says, her voice low. Alien, you're late. Then she collapses into your arms, limp. You carry her home, heart pounding, ears full of wind and whispers, and the sound of your phone vibrating again from your coat pocket. You don't check it. You already know what it says. Return. What if you've been the suspect all along? The phone won't stop buzzing. The screen cracks as you squeeze it too tightly. And then, for the first time, it speaks your name, your real name, the one only Elaine ever used. A childhood friend who wasn't you. You lock every door. You unplug every device. You even tape a sheet over the television, throw blankets over the mirrors, and yank the batteries out of every clock. Still, the house feels too loud. Your daughter sleeps in your bed now, her skin pale, her pulse fluttery beneath your fingertips like something wild caged in her chest. You sit beside her, one hand resting gently on her back, the other holding Elaine's diary like it's a holy book. You keep thinking of that mirror in the woods. Why was it there? Who put it there? The answer feels closer than ever. But so does something else. You go downstairs to make tea, anything to distract your trembling hands. In the back of the pantry, pushed behind an expired box of pancake mix, you find something you hadn't seen in years. An old shoebox labeled Summer '94. The handwriting on the lid is unmistakable. Elaine's. You take it to the kitchen table, pry it open. Inside photos, mostly. A friendship bracelet, an empty perfume vial, jasmine, dried flowers from a long dead bouquet, and something else. A letter, folded twice, addressed in blue ink to you. You unfold it. Elaine's words. Do you remember the girl who used to live across the street? You pause. You do, but not clearly. A pale girl, strange voice, always watching. You played together once, maybe twice, but your parents never mentioned her. Neither did hers. In fact, you can't even recall her name. Elaine's letter continues. Her name wasn't what she told us. She said her parents made her change it, but I saw her whispering to the mirror in her bedroom window. She said he lived in there. She said he followed her from the lake house. One night, she said he would need a new host, someone smaller, someone scared. She said she picked you. You stop reading. Every hair on your arms lifts, but it didn't take. Not then, not fully. You remember the nightmares, the fever, the voice calling your name from under the bed. Your parents blamed it on a flu. You never spoke of it. Elaine's letter. That summer, I saw you walking in your sleep. You stood in front of my mirror, and you whispered in that language, the one no one taught us. You try to breathe, but the air feels thick, like smoke in your lungs. I wanted to tell you for years, but every time I got close, he'd return. Through glass, through water, through silence. That girl moved away, or maybe she never existed. Maybe she was just the first, but you were always the next. You flipped the letter over, a final line, in handwriting that's not quite Elaine's. Some friends were never real. They were doors. You drop the paper. You look around the kitchen. Every window reflects a version of you that doesn't blink when you do. You rush back upstairs. Your daughter is still asleep, but her hand clutches something now. You gently pry her fingers open. It's a bracelet woven thread, faded colors, the same as the one in the box downstairs, but this one is wet. You step back. Her eyes snap open. She smiles. Mommy said you'd find the letter. She says. You freeze. Who told you that? Her head tilts, slow and curious. She reads to me. At night, when you're sleeping, you kneel beside the bed. Sweetheart, who are you talking about? Her smile fades. She looks past you, toward the covered mirror in the corner. I'm not allowed to say his name. That's the rule. You glance toward the mirror. The sheet moves, just slightly, like something breathing underneath. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You lift your daughter in your arms. She's heavy now, unnaturally so. Her skin cold. You don't know where to go, but you can't stay here. And then your phone buzzes again. This time, no message, no voicemail, just a photo, black and white, poor quality, but it's you, as a child, standing beside that girl from across the street. Only now, you remember, you never smiled like that, and she never blinked. The timestamp on the photo reads, today, Central 14 p.m. Your daughter whispers in your ear as you hold her. He never left. He just found better places to hide. What if you've been the suspect all along? What if the door was always open? You look down at your daughter. Her eyes blink slowly. And then, not at all. And the smile she gives you next. It's not hers. The police report that disappeared. You don't go back inside. You can't. Not with that smile burned into your mind like a brand. Instead, you sit in the car, engine off, cradling your daughter as if she might vanish if you loosen your grip. Her breath is slow, even, too even, like a metronome marking something more than time. She's asleep again, or pretending to be. You can't tell anymore. The bracelet is still in her fist. You watch the house from the driver's seat, its windows blank and unreadable. The mirrors inside may be covered, but that doesn't matter. Not anymore, because it's in her. Now, you whisper her name, gently. She stirs, but doesn't answer. You turn to your glove box and rummage through years of forgotten paper, insurance cards, maps, receipts. You pause on a faded folder, water damaged and brittle with time. You didn't put it there. You open it slowly. Police report, case number 314B. Elaine Mercer, missing person, but the date's wrong. It says March 14, 1994. Elaine didn't disappear until 5 years ago. You read on. Subject last seen at the edge of Pike Creek Woods. Witness name redacted reports. Unusual behavior speaking unknown words. Entering forest alone. Barefoot. No trace found. Case closed. Pending psychiatric review of witness. You flip the page. There's a photo clipped to the top. Elaine, as a teenager, standing in front of a small wooden shack deep in the trees. Something about the shack seems familiar. Too familiar. You've passed it. In the woods, 100 times, but you never knew what it was. Until now. You turn the page. Another report, dated 6 months after the first. Unidentified child found wandering near location of earlier disappearance. Refused to speak. No identification. Claimed the man in the glass brought her back. There's a sketch attached. A girl. And it's not Elaine. It's the girl from across the street. You stare, heart thudding, and in red pen at the bottom of the page, this report has been sealed at the subject's request. You flip to the last page. The name of the officer, Detective Louis Mercer, Elaine's father. You drop the file like it burned you. A flash of memory. Elaine, crying after school, saying he never looked her in the eyes, saying he covered all the mirrors in their house. You start the engine, drive, back into the woods. You don't know what you're looking for. only that you have to find it before he does. Your daughter remains silent in the back seat, eyes closed, but every so often you see her lips moving, like she's praying or reciting. You follow the trail from the Report Pike Creek woods. The turnoff is nearly invisible, just a thin path swallowed by trees. You take it anyway. Branches scratch the sides of your car like nails on bone. Eventually, the road ends. You get out. Sling your daughter over your shoulder. She doesn't protest. You walk deeper, following some forgotten compass inside you, and then you find it. The shack, rotting wood, sagging roof, no door, just a frame holding back the dark. You hesitate, and then your daughter stirs. Her voice rasps from your shoulder. This is where it began. You freeze. Elaine, you whisper. She laughs softly. No, not her laugh. Not even close. No, but she's here. So many of them are. You step inside the shack. It's colder in here. So cold, your teeth ache. You lower your daughter gently onto a moth-eaten mattress in the corner. In the center of the floor, covered in dust and leaves, is a mirror. Cracked, cloudy. You kneel. It hums under your fingertips. You wipe away grime, and there, faintly, a symbol carved into the glass, the same as on the glove, the same as on Elaine's ankle, the same as now you remember in your own childhood drawings. You trace the curve of it. A whisper erupts from the glass. You were never supposed to survive. You jerk back. The mirror ripples. Then a face appears. Not yours. Not Elaine's. The girl from across the street. But older. Twisted. Empty-eyed. She opens her mouth to speak, and your daughter screams. You run to her. Hold her. She's sobbing now. Clawing at your chest. I saw him. He showed me everything. You rock her gently. What did he show you? She whispers through tears. Where Mommy went. What he did. And that I'm next. You knew, but pretended you didn't. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones, especially the ones buried in sealed police reports no one was supposed to find. You carry her out of the shack. As you leave, the mirror cracks one final time, and your phone buzzes again. A photo. Elaine, tied to a chair, a mirror behind her, and the timestamp tomorrow into 13 a.m., the basement room with no door. You drive home in silence, not because there's nothing to say, there's too much. Your daughter sits next to you, wide-eyed, face streaked with dried tears. She hasn't spoken since the shack, but every so often, she glances toward the passenger side mirror and winces. You take side streets, avoid reflective surfaces, cover your rear view with your jacket. You don't want to see yourself right now, or whatever version of you might be looking back. By the time you reach the house, the fog has returned thicker now, like the air itself is bruising. You carry your daughter inside. She clings to you like a child who's seen the shape of the thing beneath the bed and realized it knew her name. You lay her on the couch. She whispers, "Don't go to the basement," which is exactly how you know you have to. You wait until she's asleep, or appears to be, and grab the flashlight. You don't take your phone. You're tired of it buzzing with things that already know where you're going. Downstairs, the basement door creaks open like it's been expecting you. The first few steps are fine. Familiar? The old wooden stairs groan, but hold. But by the third step, the air turns colder. By the fifth, your flashlight flickers. And by the seventh, you realize something's changed. The wall to your left, the one that's always been bare concrete, is different now. There's a seam, a line, hair thin, running vertically from floor to ceiling. You press your fingers to it. It pulses, warm, not like stone, like skin. You press harder. It gives and swings open. Not a wall, a hidden door. Inside darkness, heavier than the rest of the basement. You step in, the door swings shut behind you. Click. Now you're in it. The room with no door. It's silent in a way that feels wrong, not the absence of sound, but the active swallowing of it. You shine your flashlight. The beam hits walls covered in photographs. Dozens, hundreds, all of Elaine. Some young, some recent, some taken without her knowing, and others, you're not sure when they were taken, because they show her in places she never went, places you've only seen in dreams. In one, she's in the clearing, mirror behind her, someone else in her reflection. In another, she's asleep on your couch. From last week, you feel sick. In the center of the room is a chair, old, wooden, worn in exactly the same way as the one in the photo from the latest message. You approach it. On the seat, a VHS tape, labeled in shaky handwriting, "The first time." You pick it up. It's sticky. On the floor, beneath the chair, there's something half buried under a layer of dust and broken glass. You crouch down and brush it clean. A child's shoe. Not your daughter's, Elaine's. You remember it. You remember her losing it at the lake house, crying. You were both 8, the same summer she changed. You pick up the shoe and something falls out. A slip of paper. On it, in your own childhood handwriting, "I won't let him in." A memory hits you like a punch. Elaine, crying in the dark. You, covering all the mirrors. Your parents yelling. Someone knocking on the door that no one else could see. You sit down in the chair, and the lights in the room flicker on old overhead fluorescents. One by one, the room is larger than you thought. More photos, not just Elaine now. You, your daughter, and one fresh, still wet, you in this chair, from above, but no camera is in sight. You stand, tremble, and then you see it. At the far end of the room, a mirror, different than the others. No frame, just the glass, embedded in the wall. You approach it slowly. It's blank, at first, then, faintly, a face appears. Elaine, she looks tired, hollow, but alive. She mouths something. You press your hand to the glass. "I'm sorry," you whisper. She closes her eyes, mouths, "It's not too late." Then she's gone, replaced by darkness. And in that blackness, something shifts. Another face, the man in the coat, but his face is your face now. And he smiles. You stumble back, turn to flee. The room is sealed. No door. Just that seam. Gone. You bang on the wall. You scream. No answer. You grab the VHS and slam it against the wall once, twice, until it cracks in your hand. Inside the shattered plastic, a piece of mirror. A shard, no larger than a coin. It glows faintly, and you understand. It was never just one mirror. It was all of them, fractured, shared, linked. What if you've been the suspect all along? You press the shard to the wall, and a crack appears, like the room is waking up again. The ring in the drain. The crack in the wall widens with a sound like splintering bone. Not fast, not clean. The room fights. You resist your escape because it knows. It knows you know. And knowing is what makes you dangerous now. You press your weight against the fracture. It groans open, revealing the basement beyond the familiar mold-sweet air, a shocking contrast to the mirrored quiet behind you. You crawl through, battered and shaking. The scene vanishes behind you as if it was never there. Upstairs, the house is still. You race to your daughter. She's awake, standing in the bathroom. The faucet is running. You freeze. Sweetheart, she doesn't turn, just keeps staring into the sink. The water runs Red, not blood, not quite. Rust, memory, decay. You step closer and you see it. In the drain, a ring. Simple. Gold. Etched on the inside. E.M. Until the end. Elaine's wedding band. You remember seeing it on her finger the day she vanished. Remember placing it on her hand at the ceremony. Your hands shaking. Her smile trembling at the edges. You never found it after. You reach into the water, fingertips brushing cold porcelain and rust, and pull the ring free. The moment it clears the drain, the water stops. The faucet shuts itself. Your daughter turns slowly, mechanically. Her eyes are different again. Not black, not empty, ancient. She reaches out, gently, and touches the ring in your palm. His promise, she whispers. To her, to me. You step back. No, he doesn't get to keep you. She tilts her head, smiling softly, almost sad. It's not about keeping. It's about returning. The mirror above the sink flickers, not visually audibly. A hum builds behind the glass. You raise your hand and slam your fist into it. Crack. Another strike. The mirror shatters into a spiderweb pattern, and with it, the sound dies. Your daughter gasps and collapses into your arms. Eyes flutter, then focus. Dad, she murmurs. You hold her tighter than you ever have. She's back, for now. But you know the mirror's not the only one, and time is running out. You carry her to the living room, wrap her in blankets. She drifts into exhausted sleep. You sit beside her and finally allow yourself to breathe. That's when you see it. The mail slot creaks open at the front door. A single envelope slides in. No postage, no markings, just your name. You open it slowly. Inside a photo, a still from an old VHS tape. Elaine, tied to the chair from the mirror room, her mouth taped, her eyes wild. Behind her, your silhouette, but you weren't there. You swear you weren't. You flip the photo over. A single line, handwritten. You promised to protect her. You all did. The you isn't singular. It's generational. Legacy, guilt, inheritance of something older than language. You check your watch, 3:01 a.m. 12 minutes until the timestamp in the last photo. 12 minutes until whatever comes next. You make a decision. You pack the ring, the diary, the gloves, the locket, everything that carries him. You grab a hammer, nails, gasoline. You take your daughter with you, still wrapped in blankets, and carry her to the car like a ghost bride. The house watches you as you leave. Windows like eyes, shadows like witnesses, mirrors like mouths you've just sealed shut. You drive back to the woods, to the clearing, to the mirror. It's still there, waiting, but it's different now. It has grown, twice as tall, wide as a doorway. It reflects nothing. You lay your daughter gently in the back seat, doors locked, windows covered. You approach the mirror with the bag of objects slung across your back like contraband. You stand before it. Your breath fogs in the night air, but not in the reflection, because there is no reflection, just darkness moving. You unzip the bag. You place the objects at the base, one by one. The ring, the gloves, the diary, the locket, the photograph, the mirror shard, and last yourself. You step forward, but before you touch the surface, a voice speaks behind you. Your daughter. Daddy, don't. You freeze. She's out of the car, barefoot, eyes wide with knowing. You turn, shaking. She holds out her hand, not pleading, offering. And in her palm is something you didn't pack. The second ring, identical to Elaine's. Only this one has your initials, D, M, until the end. You knew, but pretended you didn't. She presses it into your hand and says, he needs both. That's the door. You stare at the two rings and understand. The mirror isn't just a passage. It's a wedding, a joining. He's waited all this time for you to complete the vow. You whisper, then we break it. You take both rings and throw them into the mirror. They hit the surface like stones through ice, and the glass shatters inward, not outward, into an impossible hole. A scream echoes out, not yours, not hers, his, and the forest goes silent, truly silent. You hold your daughter. She holds you back. For once, no one's whispering, and the air doesn't watch you. You walk back to the car together. Behind you, the mirror collapses and never reflects again. The neighbor who never sleeps. The morning after the mirror's collapse, the world feels strangely flat. No bird song, no wind, no cars passing. The air isn't silent, it's suspended. Like reality itself is on pause, waiting to see if you'll move first. You wake up on the couch with your daughter still curled beside you, her breath warm against your chest. She slept through the night, deeply, peacefully, maybe for the first time in weeks. You let yourself believe for a moment that it's over, but then you see it through the living room window. Across the street, the neighbor. She's standing at her second-story window. Same place she always is. Same position. Same motionless stare. You've lived here 5 years. You've waved. She never waves back. Never leaves the house. Never has visitors. Curtains always drawn, except that one. You never questioned it before. You do now. Because today, she's smiling. Not warmly. Not even knowingly. Just smiling. Wrong. The kind of smile that doesn't belong to this time of day, or this world, or her. You step outside, careful not to wake your daughter. You cross the street. Her house is dark, blinds drawn in every window except the one where she waits. You knock on the door. Nothing. You ring the bell. Still nothing. But you hear it, a sound from inside. Slow footsteps on creaking wood. You reach for the doorknob, half expecting it to burn your skin. It turns, unlocked. Inside, it smells like lavender and static. The walls are lined with yellowed wallpaper, old portraits and mirrors, so many of them. Every surface has one, some small and circular, others tall, stretching from floor to ceiling, each angled perfectly so that wherever you stand, you're always being watched. You call out, "Hello." No reply. The footsteps continue, leading you upward. You climb the staircase slowly, one hand on the railing, the other brushing the wall. It pulses faintly like a heartbeat. At the top of the stairs, the hallway branches left and right, but the mirror straight ahead catches your eye. It's cracked down the middle. Of course it is. You turn right, walk down the corridor. The door to the neighbor's room is wide open, and inside, she's sitting in a rocking chair, facing away from you. Still, you clear your throat. She speaks first. "I thought the mirror would take you." Her voice is soft, reedy, but there's no age in it. You step closer. You've been watching. She rocks once. You think you ended it. A pause. He's been ended before. Your mouth goes dry. "Who are you?" She finally turns, and it's not a face you recognize, but it's a face that remembers you. The girl from across the street. Older now, but the eyes haven't changed. Gray, endless, and unblinking. "He doesn't live in mirrors," she says. "That's just where he hides until someone forgets." You swallow. What does he want? Not want, need, a vessel, a memory, a family. She nods toward you. A daughter. You take a step back. She smiles wider. But you already gave him that. No, you say. I stopped it. I broke the rings. I sealed the mirror. You broke the mirror. She agrees. You seal the door. Then she stands, moves to the wall, and presses her hand to a full-length mirror. It flickers, then shows your daughter sitting on the couch, staring into your bathroom mirror. You sprint out of the house, across the street, burst into your front door. She's still on the couch, but her eyes are glazed, fixed, not on you, on the hallway, where the bathroom door is cracked and the mirror inside hums faintly. You kneel in front of her. Sweetheart, she looks at you, blinks, and the smile returns, that not quite hers expression. You grab her shoulders. What did he say to you? She leans forward and whispers, he didn't leave. He followed you out. What if you've been the suspect all along? You rush into the bathroom. The mirror is intact, but the reflection isn't right. Behind you, your daughter, and him, the man in the coat. Only now, he wears your face, and he smiles, because he never needed a door. He needed an invitation, and when you stepped through that mirror, you gave it. The journal entry, written tomorrow. You slam the bathroom door shut. You don't remember locking it, but it clicks behind you like a verdict. The mirror hums. You throw a towel over it. The hum doesn't stop. Your daughter is on the other side of the door. Or something wearing her shape is. You press your forehead against the cool wood. Who are you? You whisper. No answer. Just breathing. Not hers. Yours. From inside the bathroom. You spin. The towel over the mirror lifts slightly just at the bottom. Enough to show shoes. Your shoes. You back away. They don't move. And then you hear it. Scratching. Not from the mirror. From the bathroom cabinet. You inch closer. Open it. Inside is a small black notebook. Unfamiliar. Untouched by time or water. You pull it out. It's warm. And dated Journal. March 12th, 2026. Tomorrow. You haven't written it, but it's in your handwriting. You flip to the first entry. I watched her fall asleep tonight. I think it's still her, but it's harder to tell. Every time she smiles, I look for the seams. Your pulse hammers. You turn the page. He speaks through me sometimes. I hear the voice, but it comes from my own throat. The words are too smooth, too knowing. Another, she asked me where mommy went. I lied. I said she left, but I think she's still here. Just not where we can reach her anymore. The ink is wet on that one. You turn to the last page. Just a single line I can't remember when I stopped being afraid and started being him. You close the journal, drop it on the floor. It thuds heavier than it should. You back away toward the mirror. Behind the towel, you hear a voice, your own. It's not possession, it's permission. You rip the towel down. The mirror shows your reflection, only your writing, in the same black journal, wearing the same shirt you're wearing now, except the reflection's mouth is moving, whispering. You lean in. It stops. Then it looks up at you on its own timeline, a second too late, and smiles. You throw your fist into the glass. It splinters, but doesn't shatter. Blood runs down your knuckles. You hear your daughter behind the door. Dad, what's happening? You don't know what to say, because part of you doesn't trust your own voice anymore. You wrap your hand in a towel. Open the door slowly. She's there, eyes wide, scared. You kneel to her level. It's okay. You lie. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You lead her to the bedroom. You unplug every outlet, cover every mirror. Then you go to the hallway closet. There, in the back, is your father's old toolbox, rusted shut. You pry it open. Inside a hammer, a crowbar, a box of nails. You pick them up like weapons. You board the mirrors, one by one. Glass screams behind the wood. You ignore it. Your daughter helps, quietly. She never asks why. When it's done, you sit together in the middle of the living room, candles burning low, all the lights off, the house sealed, and still, he's in here, not in the glass, not in the girl, in you. You feel it now. A calmness where there should be fear, a hush where there should be warning. You pick up the black journal. The last page has changed. Now it reads, I made peace with it. With him, it's easier now. And she's next. What if you've been the suspect all along? What if this was the story he was writing? You throw the journal in the fireplace. Flames bloom instantly. Too fast. Too eager. The ink runs black and red. Your daughter curls into you and says, he said, I'll understand when it's my turn. You don't respond because you don't know whose voice would come out if you did. The silence in the attic. The fire dies hours later, long after the ink has burned and the pages have crumbled to ash. You sit in the flickering dark, holding your daughter's hand in yours. Her fingers twitch now and then, not in fear, but in familiarity, like she's getting used to this. That thought chills you more than the wind sneaking through the cracks in the boarded windows. You should sleep, but the house doesn't want you to. It hums, a low, droning murmur in the walls. It's not plumbing, not electricity. It's breath from above. The attic. You tell your daughter to stay put, to keep the candle burning, no matter what. She nods, but her eyes aren't on you. They're on the ceiling, as if she already knows. You climb the stairs with the toolbox in one hand and a kitchen knife in the other. The pull cord swings gently, though there's no draft. You pull it. The ladder descends with a groan like a throat clearing before a lie. You climb up. The attic greets you with silence, not emptiness, silence, thick, intentional, like it's listening. You sweep the beam of your flashlight across the insulation and old boxes. Dust motes swirl like disturbed memories. Then you see it, the mirror you wrapped in the blanket weeks ago. You never brought it back upstairs, but it's here, sitting perfectly centered in the attic, the blanket gone, the surface smooth, unbroken. You kneel, and for a moment, your reflection stares back like it always used to, tired, haunted, but human. Then it smiles, first, and slowly lifts a hand you haven't moved. You stagger back. The mirror doesn't. Your reflection stands. You don't. It watches you like prey, and then it begins to walk toward the inside of the glass, not forward, deeper. The image recedes into the mirror like it's walking down a hallway that doesn't exist, until the space behind the glass is no longer a reflection. It's a room, an attic, not yours, darker, wetter, and in it, Elaine, tied to the same wooden chair, a mirror behind her, a voice yours speaking low in her ear. You feel your throat vibrate, but you're not speaking. You see now. Your voice says, you remember. You cover your ears, try to shut it out. It doesn't help. You open the door. You let me in. The mirror flashes. The attic around you changes. Boxes are gone. The walls are wet, mildewed. You smell jasmine and decay. Your flashlight flickers, then fails. Dark. You strike a match. The flame reveals new writing on the walls, not paint, scratched in deep, Crude letters. Do not speak his name. Mirrors are truths with eyes. She took the child. She thought it would end. And under it all, repeated over and over, etched with something sharp. It was never about the mirror. You hear the trapdoor close behind you. Not a slam. A choice. You're locked in. You knew, but pretended you didn't. The attic grows colder. The match burns your fingers. You drop it. Dark again. Then, a breath. Not yours. Not near. Behind you. You turn. In the faintest hint of moonlight. The mirror is no longer showing you. It shows your daughter. Asleep. Safe. But in the background, something moves. A shadow. Not in your house. In hers. The one she sees in dreams. You pound on the floor. Shout. But the house won't let sound escape. It seals it in. Feeds on it. And the mirror smile. Just before it shows you the next image. Your daughter. Looking into another mirror. One you've never seen. A hand reaches out to her shoulder. But not from behind. From within the reflection. She turns. And smiles. Not afraid. Invited. What if you've been the suspect all along? What if she has too? The attic walls begin to bleed shadows. The trial that never happened. The attic becomes a courtroom of whispers. You don't know when it happens. One blink. One breath. And the shadows crawling down the walls solidify into seats. Empty at first. Then filled. Not with people, but with watchers, shapes wearing clothes, faces worn smooth by time or guilt. You know them without names. They've all seen the mirror. Some stepped through, some were dragged. You're in the center now. No chair, no table, no defense. Just the faint outline of a witness stand and a gavel-shaped stain on the floorboards, and the mirror behind you, glowing faintly like an old television left on overnight. You don't need a judge to know the verdict. It's already written across your memory. The sound of footsteps enters the room. Deliberate, confident. He appears, the man in the coat, still wearing your face. He approaches slowly, circles you like. He's reading a file only he remembers writing. You don't get to stand outside the story anymore. He says. You don't reply. Not yet. Tell them, he says, nodding to the gallery. Tell them what you saw. You swallow. I saw Elaine. You say. A pause. I saw her die. No, he replies, calmly. You saw her taken, and you let the world believe she left. The gallery hums. Accusation. Agreement. You can't tell. He walks closer. The mirror flares slightly. She begged you, he says. She told you what lived in the walls, what moved behind the glass. She gave you everything. And what did you give her? You close your eyes. I was afraid. He smiles. We all were. That's how I enter. He steps closer to the mirror, and it flickers with scenes Elaine, whispering to herself in the hallway. Elaine, scratching symbols onto the inside of her closet. Elaine, hiding a mirror beneath her daughter's crib. Your daughter's crib. Your daughter. The trial continues. You watch yourself walk past Elaine's diary. You watch yourself close your ears when she tried to explain. You watch yourself tell your daughter it was just a dream. You knew, the man says, but you didn't believe. You whisper, because believing meant remembering. The gallery leans forward. What would I have remembered, you ask, finally. His smile fades, and for the first time, he looks afraid. You turn to the mirror, walk to it, stare into it until it doesn't reflect you anymore, until it reflects that first summer. You, Elaine, the girl from across the street, the cabin, the night, the door, and you remember. The mirror wasn't opened by Elaine. It wasn't opened by the girl. It was you. A game, a dare, a rhyme you learned from no one. Bloody blue, bloody black, break the glass and bring her back. Elaine screaming when you said it. The glass cracking, the hand reaching out. You forgot. You made yourself forget. He leans in behind you, whispers, now you see, now you remember. And that means you finish the sentence for him. You can't control me anymore. The mirror hums louder. Cracks begin to run down its surface, not from damage, but from the weight of truth. The gallery begins to stand, all at once, not in judgment, in retreat. He backs away, but too late. You speak the rhyme again, one last time, but backwards. The glass shatters inward, exploding into black dust. He screams a noise without shape, a sound without sound, like silence being broken by a name never meant to be spoken. The room dissolves, the attic returns, empty, still. You collapse, gasping, and then a hand on your shoulder, small, warm, your daughter, tears in her eyes. Are you back? She whispers. You nod, and for the first time in weeks, you mean it. But before you leave the attic, you notice something. The VHS tape, the one marked the first time, still on the floor, unbroken. You didn't bring it here. You pick it up. On the label, something new has appeared, scrawled in red. Now watch the last. You knew, but pretended you didn't. Everyone lies, even time. The daughter who knows too much. You don't sleep that night. Neither does she. You and your daughter lie side by side on the living room floor, wrapped in blankets. As the candlelight flickers across the walls like nervous fingers, the VHS tape, the one now labeled, now watch the last, sits untouched on the coffee table. Neither of you wants to know what it contains. Not yet. She turns to you. Her eyes are clear, lucid, but deeper now. Wiser in a way no child should be. Did you really forget? She asks softly. You swallow. You've been asking yourself that same question. I think I wanted to, you say. She nods like she understands, and maybe she does, more than you ever did. She reaches into the pocket of her hoodie, pulls out something small, a mirror shard, the one from the mirror you shattered in the attic. Where did you get that? She doesn't answer, just turns it in her fingers, watches how it catches the candlelight. There's something inside, she says. What do you mean? She tilts it toward you. Listen. You lean in, and there, barely audible, you hear it. Whispers. Your name. Hers. Elaine's. But also others. Hundreds. Thousands. All speaking at once. You jerk away. She pockets the shard again. I can't stop hearing them, she says. Even when I sleep, you want to ask why, but you already know. She's the last link, the one he couldn't fully claim, the one you pulled back. But he's still in her memory, still hiding in the language she doesn't realize she speaks in her dreams. You think of Elaine, of how the curse, if it can even be called that, isn't blood-born. It's story-born, passed through retelling, through the rhythm of ritual, through repetition. A nursery rhyme, a whispered dare, a bedtime story. You remember the rhyme you said as a child? Remember your daughter humming something similar just days ago? He's a story, you whisper, and stories don't die when we bury them. They die when we stop telling them. She nods again, and then she tells you something you never expected. I've seen Mommy. You freeze. Where in the mirror? She says, but not the scary kind. Not like him. She reaches into her backpack, pulls out a folded piece of paper, a drawing, crude, like a child's. It shows 3 figures, a tall woman, a smaller one, and a man. with no face. But in the corner, scribbled almost as an afterthought, is a door, half open, light spilling out. She's in there, your daughter says, but she won't come out. You stare at the drawing, at the door, at the expression on your daughter's drawn face, and something twists in you. She's not just remembering, she's participating. I need to see, you say, what you saw, what he showed you. She hesitates, then reaches back into her hoodie and pulls out the black journal, the one you burned, the one that turned to ash. It's here, untouched, whole. You open it. It's different now. The ink isn't yours, it's hers. Each page in her looping handwriting. I met him by the lake. He said he was part of me, like a twin I never had. He showed me how Mommy looked when she died. Not scared, just tired. He said the door in the woods leads to her, but only if I knock 3 times and say her name backwards. You grip the pages harder. He told me a secret, that mirrors aren't doors, they're eyes, and if you look too long, they start blinking. You flip to the last page, it's blank. Then the pen moves in your daughter's hand. She writes slowly, carefully. He's still here. You stare at the words, then at her. She's staring at your reflection in the darkened TV screen. Not you, your reflection. I think, she whispers. He never wanted me. You turn to her. She looks at you and says, he always wanted you. You knew, but pretended you didn't. The phone rings, old landline, no caller ID. You answer. A child's voice on the line. Tag. You're it. The line goes dead. You drop the phone. Your daughter looks at you, eyes wide, tearless, and says, he's going to ask you to remember all of it. And in the window reflection, you already are. The final voice message. You don't know what time it is anymore. The clocks have all stopped. Everyone frozen at 3:13 a.m. You're not sure if it's still the same night, or if you've stepped outside of time completely into his rhythm, his hour, where nothing lives but memory and repetition. Your daughter has fallen asleep again, curled beside you on the couch. The black journal clutched to her chest like a shield. Her breath is steady. Her dreams, you suspect, are not. You sit in the dark, waiting. That's when the phone rings again. Not the landline. Your cell, the one you turned off hours ago. Removed the SIM card from and tossed into a drawer. It glows from the kitchen counter now. Buzzing, lit, screen cracked, number unknown. You pick it up with shaking fingers. One new voicemail. You don't want to listen. You know you have to. You press play. The voice is quiet, familiar. Elaine, I never blamed you. The words catch in your chest like splinters. I thought, if I left enough signs, if I made it hard enough to forget, you'd come looking. A pause, and you did. In the background, faint static, dripping water, a ticking sound like a metronome, or a clock refusing to move forward. But I can't stay much longer. He's breaking through again. You crack the mirror. Yes, but the frame, the story is still intact. He lives in the spaces we leave behind, in the pages we skip. Your hands tighten around the phone. You need to go back to where we first made him real. The shack. Finish the story. Don't let her inherit it. The audio distorts like someone else is fighting for the line. Then another voice cuts in. Your voice, but not your words. She already has. The call ends. You stand there in the kitchen, surrounded by broken time, and realize it's not about saving Elaine. Not anymore. It's about saving your daughter from the version of you that forgot, the one that let it begin. You gather the journal, the photo, the gloves, the VHS tape. You wake her. She looks at you like she's been expecting this. We're going back, aren't we? You nod. She takes your hand without hesitation. The forest is even darker now. The trees press in, low and shivering, like they want to close behind you. You find the shack again, but it's not the same. The walls have changed. New carvings. Your name, Elaine's. Your daughter's. You step inside. The mirror is gone, replaced by something else. A door. Plain. Wooden. Closed. Your daughter steps forward, reaches for the handle. You grab her wrist. I have to be the one. She looks up at you, eyes wide. But if I go, you stay. You shake your head. That's not the rule. That's his rule. You reach into your coat and pull out the ring. Not Elaine's, but the one you gave her the day you promised you'd protect them both. You place it on your daughter's palm. If anything happens, you make them forget him. She nods and opens the door. It creaks like breath. Beyond it, nothing. Black, starless. But you step through. Because stories have to end somewhere. And some doors should only be opened by the one who locked them. Inside a mirror. The first. Cracked, but whole. You walk to it, and it shows you. The boy, saying the rhyme. Elaine beside you. The dare. The cut. The hand. And you understand, it was never about the monster. It was about what you abandoned after he came. Your guilt, your silence, your forgetting. You step forward, place your hand on the glass, and say, I remember. The mirror shatters and doesn't reflect again. The room collapses into silence. For the first time, real silence. Then, a voice behind you, faint. Your daughter. Daddy. You turn. Light floods the shack. She's holding your hand. Whole. Awake. Alive. You step outside together. The forest breathes. And for the first time in your life, you don't hear your name in the trees. You knew. And now you remember. That's how you kill a story. You tell it right. And then you stop repeating it. The grave that was empty all along. The sun is rising when you find it. A light that doesn't flicker like candles, doesn't hum like mirrors, just pure, unfiltered dawn brushing across the trees, bleeding into the sky like truth into a lie too old to hold shape. You and your daughter walk through the edge of the woods together, hand in hand. Her grip is steady now. No tremble, no sleepwalking, just presence. You reach the cemetery behind the old chapel, the one where you saw the first police file, where Elaine once sat in the last pew, trying to vanish. Row after row of stone markers greet you, carved names eroded by time. Most are tilted, forgotten. You find Elaine's grave easily. It's exactly where they said she was buried. Same plot number, same weather-worn inscription. Elaine Mercer. Beloved mother, taken too soon. 1986, 2019. You kneel beside it. Your daughter stands behind you, silent. You run your fingers over the letters, cold, chipped, but something's wrong. The ground, it's too firm. You press your palm to the soil. No give, no softness, not even the gentle swell a real burial leaves behind. Just flat, compact earth. You glance at your daughter. She's not here. She nods. I know. You dig anyway, with your hands, with the small spade you brought from the shack, with the memory of what you've lost and what you still need to understand. An hour passes, then two, finally the box, wooden, old, but not a coffin, a container. You pry it open. Inside a stack of notebooks, cassette tapes, photos, The ring, Elaine's voice, captured in fragments. She wasn't buried here. She buried the story. And you found it. You opened one of the notebooks. On the first page. If someone's reading this, I failed. But if someone's reading this and they remember maybe I didn't, you flip through sketches of symbols, notes on dreams, drawings of the man in the coat, sometimes with your face, sometimes with hers. He takes shapes. That's how he survives. He doesn't live in mirrors. Mirrors are just memory. You turn to your daughter. She's reading over your shoulder. You think it's really over, she asks. You shake your head. I think it's quiet. That's enough for now. She picks up one of the tapes, holds it to her ear like a seashell. Do we burn it? You hesitate, then shake your head. No, we remember it, and then we hide it, where no one will think it's just a story. She understands. Of course she does. You drive home in silence. That night, you pack the box. You add your own pages to it, your own voice on a new cassette. You seal it shut with wax and nails. Then you place it in the wall behind the attic insulation. One final entry in the journal reads, "If he comes again, don't fight him in silence. Fight him in truth. Name him. Trace the shape. Break the mirror. But don't forget, you close the attic. Your daughter sleeps peacefully that night. You watch her from the doorway. The moon soft against her cheek. The shadows just shadows again. You turn out the light and whisper, it's over. But somewhere in the house, a mirror cracks. Just once, softly, like a reminder or a warning. You smile, because now you're listening. Word count 199. Final wind nudam. Mundown. Noir fade out. The house is quiet now. Not the silence of dread, but of a story told to its end. You breathe easier. The rooms hold no voices. The air no longer tastes like memory. It tastes like dust and light and the ordinary hum of tomorrow. Outside, the trees stand still. They don't whisper anymore. Inside, your daughter sleeps, and this time, her dreams belong only to her. You stare at the mirror on your wall, covered still, but no longer humming. You think about lifting the sheet. You don't. Some things aren't meant to be looked at, only remembered. The curse was never the mirror. It was the forgetting, the denial, the silence. And now, you've told the story. That's how it ends, with memory, with scars, with doors closed, but not locked. Sleep well, listener. But remember, some reflections are patient, and not all cracks stay closed. End of script. Sleep well, and watch your back.